Hello friends, welcome to SahuStudies. In this video, we are going to see how lead function works in Scala. So, lead function is a window function. To perform the lead operation, we need to define a window. So, how we are going to define a window? We are going to define a window with the help of a window keyword. So, whenever we are going to define a window, it does two things. First, with the help of a partition by function, it partitions the row into a form of sets of row. What does it mean? It means that suppose we have a data frame and the data frame has a column, and if we are applying a partition by function on that column, so whatever the unique values present in that column, it will this partition by function it will create each partition for each unique value. Once the partition gets created, how the data will going to organize in that partition with the help of an order by function we are defining. So how the values of which is present in a partition organized, it will be organized either in the ascending order or in a descending order based on a particular column value. So what the lead function does? So lead function is used to access the succeeding value of a specified row from a current rows within the partition. So suppose we have created a partition and we want to use the lead function. So lead function will going to fetch the value, succeeding value of that row from in which we want to implement the lead function. Here, if you are not able to understand what it means that succeeding value of a specified from a current row within the partition, it's okay. Let me just complete the exercise. When I will show you how the value will going to display when we are going to use the lead function, you will understand better how the lead function works in Scala. So lead function is a window analytical function, and window analytical function generally returns the result after operating on the data. To do the exercise, we need a sets of data. So here I have created the sets of data. It is a list which has the required data. On this data, we will perform how to use lead function. These are the values. So what I am just doing in this exercise, I am just importing the required libraries. Here I am just importing the Spark. Here I am just importing all the functions. Although we need only lead function, but to demonstrate, I have just written that with the help of this code, you can import all the functions which is present in this package, and we are also importing this window. This is the sequence which we have created. It has 4 values: AP employee name, AP gender, AP department, and AP salary. It is the name of the column which we are going to create whenever we are this AP column function we are going to use as a column names whenever we are going to create the data frame with the help of this data AP, the data which is present in the AP simple data. Here, what I'm just doing, based on the simple data which we have created, it contains the list of data. With the help of a parallelized function, we are creating the RDD. Once the RDD gets created, with the help of a create data frame, by passing this RDD, we are creating a data frame. But this data frame do not have columns. To add the columns, we are going to call this to data frame function, and we are supplying this variable. This variable has the column names. So this data frame will getting created out of it, and this data frame has the column name as well. Here we are defining a part window, and how we are going to define a window? First, we need to use partition by clause. What it will going to do? It will going to take a column name, and based on that column name, it will create a partition. Each unique value in the department will going to be a separate partition. And once the partition gets created, how the data will be organizing, or the data will be organized in the partition. It will organize with the help of a AP salary column, either in the descending order or in the ascending order. Here we are not defining any ordering condition, so by default at ascending order it will going to create. Here I am creating this data frame. How I'm going to create the data frame? This data frame, I am just creating this column with the help of a with column function, which is applied on this data frame. How the data of this column will going to populate? The data of this column will going to populate with the help of a lead function. What I am just saying, that take the value of AP salary and get the value of the next row, succeeding row. One means next value of that succeeding row. Take the value and populate in this table. But to do so, first partition the data with the help of a window. How we are going to create a window partition? We are going to create a window partition with the help of an over clause, and in the over clause we need to just give the partitioning condition. So this is the AP window partition variable which we have defined. So this variable we have defined here. What it is doing? It is partitioning the data based on the based on this AP department, and ordering the data of that partition with the help of AP salary. So it will partition the data, then it will going to call this lead function. In that particular partition, it will going to see the AP column salary row, same row. It will take the succeeding row, and it will populate that succeeding row value in this AP salary column. So let's do this exercise in Databricks. Let's first create a notebook. Name it as a lead function. This notebook is of a Scala type. Now we should have some data. Based on that data, we will going to do this lead function exercise. So I have already created a list which has the required data. I am just going to copy it. If I create here in this video, it will going to take more time. So I have already created. This is a list which has the required data. Let me run it. Okay, so this list variable has been defined successfully. It has the required rows. Now let me create a schema. Okay, first we need to define the AP column. What is the sequence? So if we just see here, this is a sequence, and here we are just defining the name of the columns. AP employee name, AP gender, AP department, and AP salary. Run it. Let's create a RDD. How the RDD will going to create? With the help of a spark context, then parallelize method and passing the object which contains the data. So this is the object which is containing the data. So let me pass this object. Okay, this RDD variable has been created successfully. Let's create a data frame. How the data frame gets created? It will. Okay, so this is the spark dot create data frame, and here we are passing the object which containing the data. So this is the RDD object which we have created. So this contains the data. Now this data frame has been created on top of this RDD. So let's display, see the content. So data frame has been created, but column is not defined. So let's create another data frame, and we will be using this sequence object to define the column of the data frame. AP data with column name df. So how we are going to create it? We are going to create a 2df function on top of this data frame. This data frame dot to 2df function, and in this 2df function we need to pass the variable which contains the column, and we are saying that include all. Means whatever the value which is present in this list variable, include all. So it has a 4 columns. Now 4 columns you can see in the resulted data frame. So let's display it. We can see these are the column names. Now it has been the data frame has been created successfully. Let's create a window partition. So how we are going to create a window partition? AP windows window partition. How it will? First we need to just import the required libraries. So to required libraries we need to use import org org.apache, sorry, org.apache, then Spark, then SQL, then we need to use Spark session. After that, we need just import all the required function. So let me copy the content from here, paste here, and in the SQL here we need to define functions, and in that just import all. So here we are saying that we are importing all the functions in this notebook, and after that let me import the window. So let me copy this one to save time, and then here in the expression package import window. Now all the required libraries are available in this notebook. Now let's create a window partition. So whenever we are defining the window, what there are two things we do. One is partition the data and the ordering of the data in that partition. So we are going to create the partition with the help of partition by function. And what is the name of the column? Name of the column is department, AP department. And how we are going to arrange the data in the partition? We are arranging the data in the partition with the help of a salary column, ascending order, because we are not providing any ordering type, ascending or descending. So by default, the Spark will going to take it as ascending order. Now this window partition has been created successfully. Now let's create a new data frame. How we are going to create the new data frame? We are going to create the new data frame on top of this data frame by creating a column with the help of a with column function. And name of the column is AP lead salary. How the data will going to populate? The data will going to populate with lead function. Lead function, it which column? AP salary. And on which partition? So over, and we have to give the partition logic. Let me run it. What's the mistake I have made? It is saying that okay, this lead partition we have to give the how. So one means it will going to take the AP salary of that particular column next value. So that is the one is for the next value. Subsequent we want to do two. It will going to take subsequent to a value which is present at the second position starting from that particular row. So one is next row. So let's run it. So this data frame has been created successfully. So what I am just doing in this in this code, on top of this data frame, I am creating a window partition with the help of a over keyword. How we are going to partition the data? We are going to partition the data with the help of some partitioning logic. So this is the AP window partition variable I have created. And what is the partitioning strategy here? It will going to partition the data with the help of a AP department, and the data which is present in the each partition will going to order with the help of AP salary, either in the ascending order, in the descending order. We are not providing any ordering condition, so by default the Spark will going to take ascending order. I will so it in this window partition, this lead function will going to apply. What this lead function will going to do? It will see the AP salary column and it will see what is the succeeding value of that particular row, because we have just given one. So after that row, it will fetch the value. If it is 2, then next to next row. If it is 3, then next to next row. This lead function will going to fetch the value. It will going to fetch the value next to that particular row and populate that value in AP lead salary column. Let's display this data frame, then and I will just make you understand how the lead function will going to populate the data in this AP lead salary column. Okay. Now this is the AP department. So data has been partitioned in the AP department column. So this IT is one value. So this IT till here this is in one partition. Then management till here it is in the one partition. Then marketing So here to here, this is in one partition and the operations. Now let's see how the data has been populated in AP lead salary with the help of a lead function. So let's consider this partition. This is the IT is one partition. So this is the AP salary. It will going to take the column of the AP salary. This is the AP salary, this row. It will going to see the subsequent value, succeeding value. So what is the value of succeeding this one? So it will going to lead function will take this value and going to populate here. Now let's talk about the second row. Lead function will see AP salary. It will in this column, sorry, in this row, what is the next value of that partition in that partition? So the next row is this one. Lead function will going to fetch this value and populate here. Same, if you talk about this, if you talk about this row, lead function will see what is the next value. So next value is this one. So it will take this value and it will populate here. Now let's see what happens in the last row of that particular partition. So this is the last row of that in IT partition. So no next value is there. So lead function will not fetch the next value because this is the last row of that that partition. That's why in the AP lead salary column, lead function is populating with null. Let's talk about the management partition. So this is the first row of the management partition. Lead function will going to see the next value of this row. So the next value is this one. So lead function will fetch this value and populate the column with this value like this. This is the second row. Lead function will see the next value and it will populate here. Let's see what happens when the last row of that particular partition. So this is the last row of the management partition. No row is present next to it. That's why lead function will populate this column with null. So now you can able to understand it how the lead function generally works in Scala. This is little bit complex topic. If you practice, then you can able to understand it better. Do one thing, just watch this video couple of times. Do the practice as I am doing couple of times, and I'm assure you if you do watch couple of times this video, do a practice couple of times, you get to know how this lead function works in Scala. Let's go to the PowerPoint. Thank you. If you like content of my video, then please subscribe my channel, like it, comment on it, and press the bell icon to get notification whenever I add videos.